YouTubers, good morning. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you will attend through the length of this video. I'd appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber, you're probably not. I only have 71, so not like I'm a really popular kind of guy. You can always hit the subscribe button up there and you can follow me through this restoration of this unique rig right here. I don't want to say rare, but it's kind of unique. I'm sure if you're an older guy like me and an old fart, you can appreciate what this thing is. Got a 3rd gen Firebird right here. So anyway, I'll cover some history and of the car. It has kind of a unique history in my opinion, a little bit different than usual. All these cars that survived actually have a pretty decent history. But this car was actually ordered, driven pretty hard, 35,000 miles in the first 2 years, wrecked, fixed, and then sold to the second owner in 1991. It was fixed just before the guy bought it, and the second owner did buy it in 1991. I have the original title with 35,000 miles over there that he purchased it with. But the front end clip is all 1991, so this happened in a short period of time. And the way to tell that real quick, I'm not going to go through this. I've ruined about 11 videos already this morning trying to make a video, and I digress. I am old and have dementia. But anyway, this 4-bolt flange right here bolts into the headlight panel, or the panel you see over there, and I'll take you along for the ride eventually. But anyway, this is how you tell the difference. Pontiac apparently had a sense of humor, and in the middle of the 3rd gen production they changed these clips and the way that cowl was bolted onto the car. And I have a 1991 bolt '82 through '90 actually had 2 bolts that went through this turn signal panel. That's the turn signal panel, that whole panel, and then it gets into there. Anyway, I digress on that already. So that's why she's sitting there the way she is. Well, kind of the way she's sitting there the way she is. So I'll give you some more of the history. He wrecked it, he fixed it, he sold it to the second owner. The second owner, he told me in a very short period of Texas we had, is that he had some kids. He didn't want them arguing, so he donated it to their school. And if I move this too much, I'm sorry. I am no video editor. Just trying to do the best I can with this, and hopefully it won't be too bad on you and not too painful to watch. So the first owner drove it for 35,000 miles in 2 years, and he had it, and he sold it he got rid of it in 2000. I'll tell you a little bit about that story in a second. But he drove it an additional 2,500 miles each year, and he said when he got rid of it, he donated it. Donated it to his kid's high school to use as a race car for quarter-mile tracks in a program in Wisconsin called Beat the Heat. So Winneconne High School in central Wisconsin actually owned this car from the year 2000 on. From 2000 to 2012, they used it as a quarter-mile track car for high school students. So that's kind of unique in its own right. The second owner, when he donated it, said it had almost exactly 60,000 miles on it. And when I purchased it in 2020, it had 71. So it had only been driven 11,000 miles in that 20 years. They used it exclusively to drive to the track and back. So the program ended in 2012. The vocational guys told me, and I've really talked to a lot of those guys. The program ended in 2012, and Winneconne High School put the car in storage. Apparently, now this is what I was told. Now this is where it gets kind of shaky because I have some time slips that kind of dispute that, but we'll get into that another day. It might not have been put into storage until later, and they may have slipped what year they put in storage. Regardless, in 2016, Winneconne High School sold it to the guy that I got it from. He drove it from their storage bin to his barn out here in Green Bay. And it sat in his barn for 4 years. Him and his kids were going to use it to race at the track. They never got it done. It runs. I mean, it ran fine. I mean, they just never. He said I got tired of watching it flood out and get rotten. So anyway, he put it on Craigslist in June of 2020 after the first lockdown. And I found it on Craigslist. He had it listed for $1,000 and I walked away with $900. So, like I said, it's one of 2,554 Maui Blue Formulas made that year. We're not sure how many of them were 350s. It has the L98. So, like I said, if you're already a follower, you're probably sick and tired of me talking about that. But anyway, it has the L98 Corvette motor, a TH350 transmission. The vocational guy did tell me that they had changed the transmission. I did not know that until I re-looked at all the text messages yesterday. After 18 months, I thought this was a 700 R4 up until last night. And it has the original Borg Warner rear end. And in case anybody's ever wondering, I see all the time in the Facebook groups that I'm in, which I am now banned from Facebook again, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you see this. If anybody ever has any questions as to how you tell if you don't have your RPO codes, these two tags are on the outside of your rear end. Just go down there and see if you can read them. I'm not going to get into all that right now. But anywho, because I'm digressing, I bought it from that guy, drove it home, and the rear shims and the rear end went out on me. I had those fixed. And I fixed the two headlight motors last year. And then one of them wasn't adjusted very well. So this winter, this is what you see is why. Because I got some new turn signals, and that panel is right there, is wavier than a fat man's back. And then this panel, I got it nice and cleaned up and painted and everything, but you can see it's got a little issue right there. I mean, I don't know where they got these. It was off in 1991. I'm assuming all this all came off the same 1991. Anyway, whoever had it fixed, jury rigged the fans. I'm not sure how they made it all that time, but 3 of the legs on this piece right here were broken. The 4 fan legs hook up to that. It's got dual electric fans. They hooked up to that. The fans were flopping in the wind. They ran into my radiator and blew my radiator out, so I had to get a new radiator. So anyway, that's why this is all apart. So if you guys, this is where we're at on the car. That's why I'm babbling along. I'm going to get up there today and get the headlights down. I'm going to do it while all this is off there so it's easier to adjust them. I have never yet seen anybody do a video on how to adjust those actual lights with those plastic screws in the back. I know how to do it. I've seen people do the motors. I've seen people pulling them out of there, cleaning them all. I've never yet seen anybody show a guy or a gal how to adjust those lights up or down. So I may do a 2-minute video on that later. But that's where we stand. I got a new cover. By the way, so I got the new radiator cover from a guy named Jack out at Camaro Hill, just south of Green Bay in Wisconsin. Mine was completely smashed. But more importantly, he had the 4-legged piece for the fans. So I got one of the fans already in there, and they're bolted in already. I'm going to do the other one here. So we're going to do the 2 fans today, 2 headlights, and I'm not going to work in front of everybody. That's not how I work. What I'll do is I'll just do an update and show you what I got done. I may do a video on that screw and how to do those. And then if anybody's interested, excuse me, got the COPD going on. Can't breathe when I'm moving around because I'm an old fart. Don't smoke, boys and girls. Do not smoke. I know you've heard it. Anyway, a lot of people, last year, I had this painted flat black. This year I wanted to go with a little bit shinier and see what it did for the waviness. It didn't do anything. It's still wavy. But that's okay. But a lot of people were commenting. They were like, man, that is really cool. So last year what I did is I took every bolt in this car and this whole front end that was visible and painted them. So you just put them in a box. And then when I was done and I put this all back together, I went and got course, he went and got Maui blue from the RPO codes and had a gentleman that's really good at making paint do that. And that's what it looked like when it was in the car. So, like, if you're a guy or a girl and you got yourself a Firebird and it has one of these and it has, let's say, a white car and it has a white panel, just take these out, put them in the box, a couple at a time, so you're not doing the whole, or if you got the whole thing out, put them in a box. If you got, like, say, a white car like that, paint them black. They'll stand right out. It'll accent that. It'll just come right up at you. You know what I mean? Anywho, so this piece is a piece of junk. If anybody wants to donate one of these, I have zero budget. I'm working on zero budget. Just kidding. I literally am working on zero budget. This is the whole reason for taking that part off, because, well, this is the whole reason for taking this piece off. You can't get this piece off unless you take that piece off. So I had to take this piece off because I got brand new turn signals from China. Brand new General Motors turn signals from China. And they won't balance in there right because this thing is so bent to hell. I have not figured out what I'm going to do about that yet. I don't know. It's just, I really need a new one. I did see one on Hawks Auto for $150. And I know a gentleman in Michigan has one for about the same. But, I don't know. Probably just going to end up having to use the one I got, man. It is what it is. It'll give it some character, right? Keep it original. Well, it'll never be original. The original must have been really wavy. Anywho, you guys, I appreciate you watching. And I'm going to post this one. I don't care if you like this video or not. Because, like I said, I think this is take 403. And this is it. I'm either posting this one or I'm not. And I hope I can get some people to join the channel and give me any ideas you think about all that. I'll take you back through it real quick because this hasn't been too bad. 12 minutes. I redid all the wiring. I know it kind of looks dingy in here, but not really, man. This fan, I cleaned all that up. All this wiring was not on the right side of the radiator thing. It was on the right side, but it wasn't hung properly. It was all just, so I separated it all the best way that I think it was supposed to be, because, you know, this rad support was changed. And then I eliminated the smog. We got a proper filter because I like to think about the environment after I leave this place. Even though I deleted that, I do like to think about the environment. And I'm going to assume if somebody wants to help me out here, see, this is why, because I'm not completely knowledgeable. I'm going to assume these are some kind of thing for the air conditioner that's been removed. That's the one bummer. One thing I'm really bummed about is the air conditioner. Anywho, you guys, here's the fan plugs. And like I said, I got all this got the mouse houses all out of there. Green light filming. Yeah, I was watching you do your mouse houses, man. You should have seen the ones in this car. They were awful. Actually, they were so awful that this is what I got now. I have no carpet in here. The back carpet is okay when I get it clean, but the front carpet, besides the fact that, you know, you got those Fred Flintstone holes, the carpet just smelled like absolute mouse piss. I just couldn't do it anymore. So if you guys got any suggestions, there you go. There's my project car. I'm really into it this year. I mean, I'm farther than I thought I was going to be. But I'm actually ready to start reassembling this thing. I didn't make too many videos of me actually taking it apart. So I hope I can get a few subscribers. I'd appreciate it. You're more than welcome to lend any support and or criticism is always welcome. Sort of. As long as it's balanced. and not fake news. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but these two parts I got from a gentleman named Jack. So if I didn't mention it, I'm going to do it again. Jack from Camaro Hill. If you're in the Wisconsin and you're looking for Camaro or Firebird 3rd gen parts, he had both of those for me. And not to be outdone, and to be fair, I'm going to plug out another guy that tried to help me out with this panel for the turn signals. Is in Whitelaw, Wisconsin, which is out by Manitowoc. There is a gentleman that owns a 3rd gen salvage. That's the name of it, 3rd gen salvage. And he sold me one of those panels for really cheap. Brought it home, and it was the it was the original version that should have been, that isn't going to work. Not with the flanges I have. I'm not real sure what I'm going to do about that. But if anybody has a plan, you can feel free to comment. And thank you for watching. And I appreciate you suffering through this. Thank you.